everyone, thanks for joining me. So today's video we're going to be making these what I'm calling fancy frames. It's a challenge over on my Facebook group. We're doing an embellishment challenge and each week I come up with a different prompt for them. So these are really quick and easy to make, but they really are beautiful, quite unique to yourself depending on how you take the idea and use what you've got at home. So sit back and enjoy the video and let's create some lovely fancy frames. Okay, so the base for my frames, here we are. I like to use what I've got in my stash. If I see somebody do something, I think, how can I get the same results or similar or the thread of the idea with what I've already got? I don't look at the list of things that they've used and automatically rush out and buy it. I do sometimes, but not automatically. So what I've got here is a toilet roll, innard. Now I've got a big pile of these that I've saved for, you know, because they might come in handy one day. And what I do is I run them through the Big Shot, okay, and then I've got them wrapped with a hair elastic like that, and I've got quite a number of these. I just saved them. So we're going to use that, and also just random bits of cardstock. Now the photographs that I've used I have printed out, okay, so these are over on my Ko-fi site. These I have found in the deepest bowels of one of a certain country's public library. I'm not going to say where because, you know, I spent hours finding them. But I wanted images that were already in everybody's kits and all over Pinterest. So I went, and it took me, you know, if you're looking for unique stuff that not everybody's already got, it can take you quite a while investigating and researching, you know, but I enjoy it. I'm a historian, so that's what I did at university, so I know kind of like what I'm doing. Although some people think I'm a bit silly and a bit thick and a bit daft, I'm actually quite clever. Thank you very much. Anyway, so we've got a toilet roll inner. So how I've created this one, I'm going to show you. So you get your toilet roll innard and then you pick a die of your choice from your stash. If you don't have one, I'll tell you an alternative way of doing it. And you put the die face up, cutting up, okay, and slot it through your toilet roll. Now I've chosen this one specifically because there's not a lot of play, so it doesn't really matter whereabouts it is sidewise, as long as I can feel that shape is kind of in the middle, then I know it's going to be fine. So I'll slot it in and then I'll feel with my thumbs and with my fingers, sorry. And you can sort of centralise it, you know, it's not, although you can't see it, you can centralise it by feel. You know, I'm like a quarter of a fingertip at one side with the curve and quarter of a fingertip at the other side, so I know it's kind of even, okay? And then I will literally press it and then I'll have a feel where it is there. And if I feel it just needs adjusting, I can just move it a little bit and then put it face down and run it through the Big Shot. Okay, now if you're not confident to do that, another thing you can do is just quickly slice that open with a penknife or scissors, open it up, lay it flat and then cut a rectangle out with a craft knife, okay, and then very gently glue it back together. Okay, it doesn't matter, it's fine, it's just for crafting. That's another way of doing it. So I've cut my shape out, and then what I do, I like this embossed look, so then I run it through an embossing folder. I can't tell you the names of any of my dies or any of my embossing folders. I just use what I've got in my stash. You know, I've had them all years. So then I've run it through my embossing folder and then I get this, okay, which is lovely. It's decorated all the way through, so if you took the photo out you'd still see it. Okay, so that's that one. Super easy, don't get any easier. Then all you need to do is find a photo that will fit roughly. Let me just see if this lovely girl here will fit. And you can have them where they slide in, or you can, you know, in and out where they're removable, or you can just have them where they're just fixed. I'll probably just have this as a fix, something that's fixed. If it doesn't slide in and out easily, just get your scissors and trim a bit off until it fits. Okay. Alright, so I'll just slide that in there. She slides in there perfectly fine now. Let me just slide her down a bit. She's catching on the inside. Come on, slip her a little sucker. Let me do it from the bottom. It's catching on the, you know, because you've got the layers of, there we go. Sometimes you've just got to play with it a bit. So there we go. We've got the basic frame done there. Okay, let me just press you know, it's not focusing. And then all you need to do is get your favourite colour distress ink. I mean, you could paint them with acrylic paint. Any kind of ink you can distress with. It doesn't have to be the Tim Holtz brand, it can be anything. I'm actually going to go a bit darker because this is already quite dark like craft. I'm going to go with Walnut Stain. So then all you need to do obviously is distress it, and by going over it carefully like so, it will bring out the, you know, the texture of your embossing obviously. Now if you don't have embossing folders, here's an alternative. I'm going to go inside there even though you won't see it. An alternative, okay, so maybe you've got some stamps and some embossing powders. You could stamp it maybe on darker brown card or on black card, stamp and emboss with some gold embossing powder or bronze or silver, and then heat set it. You'd get a similar effect. It wouldn't be raised, but it'd be patterned. You know, have a look what you've got and get the results, the same results with what you've got. That is my kind of how I go about it. Right, so now let me just move my crystals. I had my crystals on my desk and they're in the way now. I'm just going to move them. Oh, dear me. Okay. And if anybody's worried about the hygiene on the toilet rolls, I've seen it mentioned before. Yeah, if there was any bacteria on this toilet roll, it's been dead because it's been in one of my drawers for about, you know, how long do we hoard things? About 50 years. Yeah, no. If you're worried, spray it with antibacterial spray and leave them to dry. I think we can worry a little bit too much about some things. Yeah, no. No, right, and a few germs won't hurt you, you know, unless it's COVID, and then it might do. Right. So then just slide your photo in, back in. So I've slid her back in now. Let me get it right. Then I'm going to show you how I decorated mine. Don't want to go in that way. It's, you know, because it's like in lines of how it's glued together. It's just sticking on one of them. There we go. That's better. Okay, now she looks lovely there, doesn't she? And that frames her beautifully. Now I can leave it open or I can glue it shut. I could sew around it or I can just leave it as it is, which is what I will do because it will slide in a pocket or something. Now another thing you can do is use something like, if I can find mine, what have I done with it? Here we go. A bit of gold rough and buff. Buff and rub or whatever. You know, some kind of gilding. You know, and you can I just only like a little bit of it. I don't want it everywhere. Somebody sent me this and it smells divine. It smells like, you know, old boot polish. It's beautiful. Right, so that'll just go on there now. And you could do it on the back if you want. Now, I'm not going to put this on the back because I know from experience that it's hard to glue things to this because it's like wax. It's like a wax. And I want to stick one of these on the back. Now I'm not going to do this on camera because I do fussy cut these, but I will just show you what I've done. So I've stamped that in the same distress ink and then I've fussy cut it. I've done it on white card, added some vintage photo and then I've fussy cut it so that it looks like the cabinet card maker's, you know, label. It's just for cuteness. Nobody's probably even going to see it. So then what I've done here, I've got some little labels and I have treated myself recently to this stamp set, which is by Sam Poole. Here we go. She's not given me a fiver for showing it, I just liked it. Sam Poole, so it's got all the dates and things like that and Paris and you know, I mean, I've got loads of printed out ones, but sometimes you just want to make something quick, or you want to make it in a certain colour or whatever. It's good to have them on hand. So what have I put on there? I've put a pleat. So this is the other side. So this is just a little scrap of a pleat. I'm going to add this little, yep. So as I say, I've stamped one of those stamps on a little bit of, this is brown packaging paper that comes from Amazon. And then underneath is just a scrap of, I don't know, just some of, I think it's grid paper. And then I've inked it. Yeah, there you go, look. Okay. So I'm going to stick it straight across there because it might not want to stick to that gold wax stuff, so I'm sticking it kind of to the photo as well, but I've got no intention of taking the photo out. And then this photo can either go in a pocket or a tuck. It can be a focal point for a tag, or it could be a focal point for a layout. I'm doing a journal at the moment, and I'm making these things to go on inside there. Now I know that that's covering that 18 whatever 90 something up, but I'm not bothered. Okay, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it's about layering, as long as you can see some of it. So that's that one finished. Okay, now I'll quickly show you how I've done my second one, which is here, which I've just done a little bit different. Get off me, what's that? Alright, so this one is done with dies again, layered rectangle dies. Where are they? So I've got these like stitched rectangle dies. They give me a scalloped edge and a stitched edge as well. And they're in different sizes, so maybe you've got layering for, you know, layering dies. If not, like I say, cut them out, draw around something, it doesn't matter. So I've used that one die, and then I've used the same die again to cut the frame, and then a smaller one to cut out the middle. So I've cut this complete like this, then added another die in the middle and cut a hole. Again, you could do that with a craft knife if you don't have layering dies. Then I've run it through the same embossing folder so that this frame part has a raised edge. Okay, I'm going to turn this over. Yeah, so that's the fancy side and that's the not fancy side. I'm going to add a very small amount of glue down the sides. Okay. In fact, I think I'm going to find which photo I'm going to use first, actually. Because I might need to cut it. So let me just, I quite like this one. Yeah. I quite like this lady here, but obviously she's too large. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to use, this is kind of my template. Right, okay. Tell you what I'll do. I'll just put that around her, and I will very gently, if I can find one, I'm going to just wheel myself around. Just very gently, I'm going to place her where I want her. So I want her there because I want her head in, and I'm going to very gently just make some little marks so that I know kind of where I'm cutting. Can you see those? Just 3 little marks. And it's just a rough guide, so I want to cut to the far side, you know, to further right than the marks, because the marks are obviously right up to the inside of that frame. So about there. Watch this be completely wrong now. And about there. Yeah, so that will fit in there now. Now I'm having this as a fixed frame, so I know it's not gonna be you know, moving about. Right, let me just get that and pencil marks off. Okay, and then I'm going to actually glue her to the centre. So that other one's removable, this one's fixed. Okay, so I'm going to put her roughly in the as centre as I can. Okay, and then I'm going to put my frame over, re-glue this frame, and try and do this as quick as I can, and then if I need to move that image, you know, then I can. And no, the image is fine. So now I can concentrate on lining the scallops of my frame up. If yours isn't scalloped, then you don't need to do that, do you? It's fine. Okay, make sure you've got the raised embossing bit to the top, because that is going to give you a better effect. Don't matter which way around you do it, obviously the both sides are nice, but that's where you're going to ink over the top, so you're going to get best results with it that way. Okay, and then with this one I'm going to use Vintage Photo, because this is a lighter cardstock. I can go with a lighter colour. Okay, I'm just going to start by going around the edges to get some of that excess ink off my pad, because I'm using it for 2 colours, because I'm not buying a billion of these. Now you could do this before you stick it on, but it makes no difference really. Yeah, because I like the inside bit to be a little bit lighter and darker at the edge, so it draws it in. Okay, there we go, simple as that. Now if you don't, like I've said, if you don't have the distress inks, you know, I've got, I mean obviously those that know me know I've got a full set of Stampin' Up inks. You can ink with those as well. You can use whatever brand of inks you've got, you can use them. This is just the same, it's water based, it's just a bit more translucent than normal ink. Okay, so again you can put your goldy stuff on over the top if you want. I'm not going to do on this one, I did on that one. In fact I will a little bit, and I'll just leave a little space at the bottom for a label. Okay. I love the smell of it, it's gorgeous. It's probably toxic or something, I don't know. It won't be, it's only a little, it's just a gilding wax, but it smells lovely. Okay, what was it by? Don't know. Renaissance, it says. What's this one? Treasure Gold, I don't know. Metallic wax finish. So anything, you know, they're all different brands, they all more or less do the same thing. Right, so on this one I've got the little tiny Paris that I've stamped and cut out. I just use scraps that are on my desk if I'm stamping. There's always some random scraps on my desk somewhere. So add that one to there. Okay. So it's the same stamp as that one, but it's going to look different. Okay, because that one's been done on brown paper and backed. This one's just done on cardstock. Okay. And then what I did here was I got just a collection of bits and I've added them to the corner with a brad. So let's find some bits. So I stamped out some stuff last night, making a collection of these little numbered scraps, snippets, I don't know, whatever you want to call them. So I'm going to use that one for the top, and then underneath I'll use a bit of this left over. I want it to be a bit longer maybe. That'll do. And then cut myself a little bit of lace. Let me get my scissors and just a sliver of lace. Then grab my brads. I got these, where did I get these? I got these from the range. They weren't expensive. I tried to get ones that are as little as possible. Tiny ones. So then what I'm going to do, use something soft and be careful with sharp instruments. So I'm going to poke a hole there, okay, push it all the way through so it's the, you know, because that's a nice thick pokey tool. I need quite a deep hole to get my brad through, you see. Alright, and then I'm just going to ink this. And then I'm going to figure out how my layers are going. So I'm going to have the little squarey scrap at the back, then lace, which I think I'm just going to trim the bottom of that off so it's not quite as long. Then lace, and then my little date scrap. Okay, layer them all together like that. You want them kind of set, you know, like what I call ribbon tails, so that you can see them all. Yeah, and then get your pokey tool. I'm just going to use this one that Tanya made me because it's a little bit sharper and thinner, and poke a hole through them. Then you can put your brad through your bits and bobs and through your photo. Okay, and if you need to, just turn it. And this is the bit I struggle with because I've got quite bad eyes, so I cannot see the you know, the opening of that. I've got to do it by feel. I literally can't see. Press it right down. Okay, and if they feel sharp, snip them off. They feel alright, those, they're not going to hurt anybody. And then you've got your little 3-layered. You can mess about with it and make sure they're nicely fanned, and you know, if you want them to sit nice and exact, you can just add a little speck of glue on there as well. So that's how that one's made. There you go. So I've got 2 of those now. I did actually glue that one down because I was photographing it for Instagram and I didn't want any shadow. So I may well tack that one down as well, but you know, you've got, that's like for decoration. It's lovely. Okay, and then these are the toilet rolls. So hope you can use the idea. So take the principle and use what you've got. Okay, have a great day, and go and do some creating. Thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.